Hello and welcome to Hear Us Out. I'm Paul,
And I'm Patrick.
and welcome to Hear Us Out. More
Yeah.
topic day.
Yeah, we've really kicked the hell out of getting other people to do the work for us. It's great. We did one episode where we thought, because usually we come with stuff and we do things and we have our own ideas. Well, we thought, why don't we just ask other people what they'd like to hear us talk about? And we got so many brilliant submissions. We thought, well, we'll get a second episode out of that. And we've enjoyed it so much that we're getting a third episode out of that. In fact, this may become more of a series, particularly because of you people who submit the amazing questions that we don't have answers for, but we definitely have opinions on. And all we ask is that you hear us out.
Ah, very nice.
Me branding.
Very nice indeed, sir. Which goes, so, how you been? How you been? How you
Oh,
doing?
we're going to do pleasantries now.
Yeah, we'll do
Is
nice
that
things.
that's who we are? Yeah, I've been good. I've been pretty good anyway. I am looking forward to a haircut. It's going to happen, so there'll be less of this quiffness. Um, but I actually, and I'm saving it for slightly later on. I watched one of our old videos, and I'm going to tell everybody what video that is to check out our hair and beard combos, which I had forgotten that we looked like that a year ago. And oh my god, was COVID around last year? Like, were we on lockdown and just didn't know it? Because
Oh
I don't know
no.
what else our excuses are going to be.
Oh, don't know. Oh
Yeah,
dear.
you'll see when you see. Yeah, I'm doing good. What about you? Are you excited with all the interaction we've had from people?
Yeah, it's been really good. Which the Twitter feeds have been going a little bit more mental and stuff, which has been nice. Like we've been tweeting and stuff like that. It's Christopher Nolan's birthday today as well, so I tweeted at him. He'll never see us, but maybe.
I called
You
him a
know,
merman on Twitter.
I saw that. Yeah.
That was me. You can never tell which one of us, me or Paul, is tweeting on the Here's Out account until there's something dumb like a merman, and then you know it was me.
Or spelling mistakes are me. Like if it's bad grammar and spelling mistakes, it's me. All right, just so people
Yeah, dumb
know.
jokes, bad grammar. It's it's one or the other of us. But yeah, so Paul, I'm gonna
Yeah.
suggest that we take one of our beautiful topics and start. Thank you everybody
Yes.
who's joining the live stream. I'm just seeing that we have watchers joining us. So now is a good time to say, and I think we're just gonna throw in first names. Anybody who had your first name in your Twitter handle will use
Mm-hmm.
that. So the first one came in from Wes. So we're taking them in order as they came. The question is remakes or sequels? Sorry, I should have swallowed before I started. Remakes or sequels with a decade or more between them, Blade Runner, etc., that were better than the originals. So sequels that had a long time between them and their first film that were better than the original, and what made them better or worse, apart from better VFX and general production. So discounting the whole things get better because technology moves on. What did you pick?
Mm.
So what's your take on that? What came to mind?
Um, well, funny enough, because we did do a video about this. We did do a video of the longest sequels, which it had
Hmm.
taken, and a couple of them have not come out yet, like Top Maverick, Top Gun.
Top Gun Maverick, yeah, the
Yeah,
reason that we
that's
did that video, yeah.
yeah. So like that hasn't come out yet, which is kind of like, oh, I kind of can't wait for. I can't wait for Top Gun. It should be good.
Mm,
But I was looking this up earlier. Which Blade Runner is quite good. Blade Runner 2049 is the
2049.
new one, and then it was a Blade Runner, which goes. But like I went through the list of kind of like stuff that made took too long. So far, the only ones I found were Zoolander 2 and Dumb and Dumber 2, which is or Dumb and Dumber or I can't.
It was Dumb and Dumber 2 was the sequel because Dumb and Dumber was the them as younger people. Not that I've watched either of those films. I just know from research we did for that particular video. Guess which video we had beards to here and hair to there. It was that video.
Oh,
If Yeah, after if you're watching this, watch us till the end and then go back and check. We'll put a link in the description down below. That there is a video that we did about the longest distance between sequels, and you know I went back to look at it because of this question, and it made me think. Before I got to it, it made me think, what was the one that was the longest time? Oh yeah, it's actually one of my answers for this, I think, and that is Oz. Return to Oz.
Oh,
The Return to Oz, Wizard of Oz sequel was 46 years.
that
So it definitely
was
beats the decade.
was so. Is that the creepy one,
Yeah.
or is that the James Franco one?
No, it's the creepy one. So the James
Okay.
Franco one was even later again. But no, Return to Oz with the original Dorothy story, actual sequel, nearly 50 years later. So it fits the criteria that we were given. I'm going to say it was better than the original, even though The Wizard of Oz is one of the greatest films of all time, because they did the impossible. They made a Wizard of Oz story that was still very Wizard of Oz, used loads of the same kind of tropes and premises, etc., but made it all really unsettling.
Yeah.
I th- I think to change genre from that kind of children family movie that had some tension and a little bit of intrigue to it and some singing people, to move all the way to, I don't know if I'd feel comfortable watching that on my own. Like, it is
Ye-
genuinely messed up in places. It's just weird. It makes me feel like it's subliminally probably telling me to burn things or something. It feels like a setup.
What was it like? Playing a record really slow. You're just
Yeah, it's
playing Wizard of Oz, the Return of Wizard of Oz, like at normal speed, and it's just like
yeah.
Dorothy,
I
it's the
think the
devil.
Return to Oz was made for like the Manchurian Candidate out there. It's their activation movie. They're gonna watch it, and next thing you know, they come and get you. Exactly. So no,
Um,
it was the one that came to mind, but the one that came to mind before that I'm actually going to say is not better, but as equally as good in very different ways and underrated is Tron Legacy.
I was gonna, yeah, Tron Legacy is quite good. I know in the chat, like Brew,
Mm.
we'll get to your choices as well, and we get
Oh
Tron
yeah,
Legacy. Tron Legacy, like I don't like it's weird because I wouldn't say. Yeah, I'd say the similar thing. It's not better than the original, but it's definitely on the same level kind of thing. It was very much an intrigue kind of one. Great visuals, the same as the original one.
yep.
Like as par kind of like fantasy kind of like story and everything. It was fantastic. Like
It
absolutely great.
it moved with the time and it threw itself into its aesthetic, which really worked. It really went for what it was going to be. And if you watch the original Tron, which I loved as a child and still like, if you watch it back to back with Tron Legacy, you're not going to feel too bad about saying that they're actually equally as good as each other. Because Tron, the original movie, is great. It mightn't be as great as you remember. Tron Legacy is better than you remember.
Mm.
So they even up. We should throw it to Brew. So what did Brew put in?
He put in Mad Max Fury Road,
Ooh,
which
yeah,
see
that's
I don't
excuse me.
I don't agree that that's a better film than the originals.
I don't either.
Like
Genuinely, I don't. But nobody wants to agree with us on that. We could lose our YouTube talking about movies privileges just for even suggesting that it wasn't one of the 10 great films of the last 20 years. I
yeah,
think it was
very
very
much
good,
so.
but it's massively overrated. I see you also put in Terminator 2. That is out of bounds because it's less than 10 years, isn't it, between Terminator 1 in 84, 85 and Terminator 2 in 91, 92.
Uh,
So not eligible, but also
mhm.
controversial. Is it a better movie? Or is it? Yeah, it's actually probably T2 is a better movie. Well,
T2 is a fairly good like movie, man. Like
yeah, but
it's
Terminator 1 really is as well.
true, but
Mm. And I won't hear Alien and Aliens being brought up either. Number one, gap not big enough, and also you never want to choose between your children. That's unfair.
well,
They're
like we've already said that they're like they're different genres, kind of like same great
completely.
settings and everything like that. It's just that it's very difficult to compare the two because you are like which goes yeah it comparing the two is kind of like I can't even think of the word for it now. I've
it's
just
it's like comparing cats and dogs if you love
yeah
both animals.
yeah. I
They're
was trying
different
to.
animals, but they're both animals.
It's
I was
that
waiting
was
for
it.
you to do it, so I hadn't thought of one. And then you backed out, and I'm like, now I'm going to
I
screw
was
it up with
trying to
cats and
think.
dogs.
I was trying to think of some good comparison thing, like, and my brain just went boom.
It's
Um,
like chocolate and chocolate substitute. No, but seriously, I do. I think Terminator 2 is a good shout. Fury Road, better than the original? I don't think so. Good film, yes. Uh, but Bruce actually just said, I could not be bothered to Google a release date. Yeah, I don't blame you, brother. I do not blame you. But what I do want to throw in is, because it dawned on me when I was thinking about this, lying in bed, thinking about the questions, because I knew I was going to have to talk about it today. Didn't want to do research. So I wanted to be off the cuff, but I knew I had to have something. And I thought, right, well, what else has there been a lot of sequels to? What have we been talking about recently? Oh, I know. Fast and the Furious has a crap ton of sequels. And because the original, the first film, was so bad, now I think Wes, in fairness, meant part one and part two. You know, where is part two better than part one? But I'm
Yeah.
going to stretch this and just say that Fast Five was better than all four of the Fast and Furious movies before it.
Mhm.
And I never thought I'd get into an intellectual discussion about Fast and Furious. But let's put it this way: it's the one where they realized they were making dumb movies that weren't really car movies, and just they went full superhero. They brought in Dwayne the Rock Johnson. They expanded the cast. They had an airplane on a runway doing a takeoff scene for longer than most flights I've been on. Like
Yeah.
that thing was on the ground taxiing and being chased by planes. Unless it was hanging hard rights when the camera was looking at it and it was doing an oval. I don't know. But yeah, Fast
Yeah.
Five, that's much better than anything that came before it. So there you go.
Here's one that I don't think I definitely think which goes Super Troopers.
The second film is not better than the first.
No.
No,
But
it's
it's
not. Thank
but
God.
it's a decade between them, so I thought I'd bring
Yeah.
it up.
You thought
Um
you'd bring it up to hurt me because Super Troopers, one of my favorite films of all time,
yeah, it's
waited with bated breath for what was a huge disappointment in the end. Not that I
yeah.
don't love the guys from Broken Lizard, but
No, I understand. It's I'm kind of like using this as an example of kind of like where it can go. Like,
yeah,
where
what can go
you
wrong?
wasted by bated breath. Now, here's the question, because he brings up a good point. 2049 is it better than the original Blade Runner,
For me,
or
no,
is okay,
but
or is it
that's for
as
me.
good? Like, is it on the same level, or is this like out of 10, what would you
Mm.
give the original Blade Runner?
I'd give it a solid like 8.5, 9. I think it's a 9. You know,
Okay, and then what would you give 2049?
see, it's an 8, solid 8.5. Like they're close. I really enjoyed 2049, but
Mm-hmm.
there's something for me. It's because it was a continuation. It didn't, it didn't take away from the film, but it didn't have as much intrigue or joy for me. I really, really enjoyed Rutger Hauer in the original movie as well. There was no substitute for what he brought to the role in the original. There was none of that in the second movie.
Yeah, because I was going to be like, what makes the sequel better? Like, as Wes said, like, is it the graphics, or is it just general production values have just gone up and stuff like that? So, like, for me, Blade Runner 2049 is really really good, but um, is it 4049? Am I getting this wrong?
2040,
It is
it's
20.
2049.
Okay, I am
Yeah,
good.
you're getting it right.
Because I'm just like, it's not that
I
far
have something
away.
in my eye.
Oh, yeah. You wanna,
Sorry.
you wanna,
Yeah, I think something flew into my eye a moment ago, and I've been trying to poke at it. And
if someone can
it-
clip that.
yeah, thanks.
No, no, no. I don't mean that. I mean it flying into your eye. I don't mean
Oh yeah.
you rubbing your eye. That would be mean. Um,
Well, actually, you didn't answer the question you asked me. Which do you prefer, 2049 or the original Blade Runner? Because like
oh
I think like it's easy for me, but this is a very personal thing. If they're even closer for you, I wouldn't be surprised.
no, like it's like the original Blade Runner has a special thing in my heart, because I think it was the first time. It was the first sci-fi noir kind of film that I got to see properly, which is that's like done with such care, and which with great kind of like great stage production, great props, great like sets, everything like that. Like, it's an amazing show. And then like I think what made that so good was I didn't have anything to compare it to, and 2049 came along, and I immediately compared it to the original.
Mm.
So like, although they are very good, like I like that they kept the aesthetics with the second one.
Mm.
But all they did was just used, the production value is able to go up because of modern fabrication methods and everything like that,
Yeah.
and money, because like the amount of money now put into these kind of films is fucking astronomical.
The story
Um,
and character wasn't there for me. The more I think about this, the more I'm actually thinking that 2049 was a good 7.5 and Blade Runner's a 9. Because
well,
I'm kind of playing them both in my head side by side and they're getting further apart, which ask me on a different day and it'll go the other way. You know
yeah, yeah.
yourself. It's
Yeah, like it, but that's a good sign. That's a good sign of a good movie and the kind of good franchise, in the sense that in a couple of months' time, 2049 could be your favorite, could be your top player rather than the
yeah.
original.
They'll get on a par at most, I'd say. I am quite
Okay.
attached to that first movie, so it's a bit unfair. We didn't, and I know they don't count because they're not directly after each other, but technically they're still sequels, even if they're follow up. Jurassic World and Jurassic Park and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. You know, you've got all these things. Because we're Wes, if you're out there, we're completely messing with your question and throwing the rules, damn sequel, damn 10 years. But I did have a think. You know, James Bond's Jurassic Parks / Jurassic Worlds, were they getting better due to technology or were they getting better due to storytelling? Because let's face it, the original Jurassic Park is a masterpiece,
Mm.
and most of the ones since are more technologically advanced. Um,
Yeah, like I would say, yeah, I would definitely agree there, in the kind of sense that Jurassic World, the new one, it looks shinier, it looks a little bit nicer and stuff like that in places. I'll say,
mm,
like the animatronics and stuff like that are just phenomenal in the first one. You
yeah,
know, so like when it does show a small amount of CGI in the first one, and Jurassic World shows CGI, you can definitely then be like, yeah, that gets dated. But like because
yeah.
they use the animatronics so much, like
That's it.
it's
That's the best thing about bad CGI. If bad CGI in the times when CGI was a new art, it meant people resorted to practical effects, and that was a good thing because now CGI is so good, the need to do practical has dropped in filmmakers' eyes and in money. You know, the people who hold the purse strings. I would love it if people were like, you know what, maybe we could do better with CGI, but we're going to get a texture and a feel out of having this really there. And we may, and we've talked about this, so I'm not going to go into it. We may get a better performance from the actors that are interacting with these dinosaurs or whatever they may be. Um, I'm calling time on us because we're a long way into this episode on one topic, and we've got other people to go to. So, have you any final thoughts?
Incredibles 2, I would say, is better, but that's because the technology did go up.
I haven't seen it
Have you not?
actually. No.
I won't give you spoilers, but so storylines very much on par with each other, which is it's very good. It's just that, yeah, CGI has improved a lot. So like, it's just like it just feels like a little bit of a better movie. Like as I said, it's so close, but just a little bit of a better movie is incredible too. So, and it is definitely
Oh, well,
CGI.
and you know what? It also means that I should have forgotten that I forgot to watch it, and I got to get around to watching it. I want to call out just before we move on. Nora mentions Terminator 2 as well. I think I will always be outvoted that, you know, Terminator 2 and the original Terminator are kind of on a par in my mind because Terminator 2 is a much more impressive film. Toy Story 3 and Police Academy 6. Police Academy 6 got a call out from Brew. Not too sure how serious he is because he knows that first film can never be topped. Mahoney. Steve Guttenberg is a young man. Like, well, you're not going to beat that. No, I
Yeah,
don't care how many more cast you add. Give me original Mahoney and Hightower any day.
yeah. No, I definitely agree.
Um, do you mind if I jump our running order just because you talked about Incredibles 2 and jump to a different question than in
Go for it.
order? Are
Go
we
for
going to
it.
be mad and crazy? Well, we are a couple of wild and crazy guys. Brew sent in some questions, and one of his, thank you for the SNL recognition, um, was favorite Pixar film. It was a short question, favorite
Hmm.
Pixar film, but since we were just talking Pixar, I thought I'd throw it up now.
Hmm. That is a difficult one. Do you want to go first?
I desperately want you to go first, but I'll
Oh,
go
okay.
first. But I'm also going to throw it out to Brew and say, Brew, because you're online chatting, you have to put in your favorite pick as well. I am
Hmm.
going to be very obvious because I've talked about it on the channel so many times before. Up. Up is my favorite Pixar, followed very closely by the original Toy Story.
Mm-hmm.
They're like I'm pretty easy on those. Up makes me cry every time I see it. Sometimes I just think of the opening section of Up and I well up. It's just that simple. Whatever that film has, it's in me now. It's got me. It has its remote control on my emotions.
Hmm. Okay. Um. Hmm. Yeah, it's difficult. I'll be honest with you. Um. Like Up is really good. I'm also really like. I really, really do enjoy which goes Inside Out.
Oh yeah,
You
bong
know,
bong or bing
yeah,
bong.
like that's a very good one as well.
Hmm.
Um, what else? There's so many
Well,
good ones. Is
Brew
is
picked up as well, actually. So it's interesting that I ended up picking the same thing. Oh, he threw in a soft spot for Monsters Inc. If that helps you, because there's one that I kind of rarely think of, but was actually really good.
Monsters Inc. is good. It's a good one as well. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Inside Out. Though I was thinking, is because I always forget about this. Is Wally Pixar or
Pick,
DreamWorks? It is.
it's Pixar.
It is Pixar because
Is it Pixar? Yeah,
Pixar would be a close second then for me.
or Wally would
Yeah,
be.
Wally. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Wally would be a
That's a
close second.
that's an interesting choice. That is an interesting choice because it's a very singular film in their universe, just with its um, sparsity of character and it's kind of much like Up. Yeah, actually, Wally and Up I share some similarities because they're quite bleak and outlook in places. Yeah, it's interesting that we both go there. I'm gonna go ahead and say that nobody is going to argue with us or with me that Toy Story is always worth mention because that original Toy Story is one of the most significant films in the history of filmmaking.
Yeah,
It's it's easy to argue that to the end of days because it created a whole new genre of movie and proved, much like we were talking about The Simpsons, helping to transition one generation to another to think of cartoons as actual programs. Yeah, I think digital animation without Toy Story wouldn't be where it is today.
yeah. No, I definitely agree, and it is a very much it's a cornerstone of a part of the industry that came out, and yeah,
Yeah,
like there's no way that you couldn't, like we're saying Up and Wally and Inside Out and stuff like that, but Toy Story is the kind of like
yeah.
originator of all of it. So
Oh, it's up there with the first talkies. It's up there with the other inventions in the history of cinema. You know what I do love? I love Brew. Brew is one of our best commenters, most faithful watchers. I love the guy's a man, but I love him as a commenter because he is absolutely agreeing with everything we're saying. So much so that I actually think we should give him the microphone and we should be commenting that he's right. Because yeah, no, everything that we think of, he's thought of it
exactly.
either before or just after us. So, um, I know that was a bit of a jump, so we better go back. Do you want to go back to Ben's question?
Yes. Also, by the way, Wes and Ben are also our friends over at Homebrew, which is
Mm.
so yeah. This just to say so because
Do you want to
they
do you want to take a moment and give a spot to Homebrew actually? Because anybody out there who doesn't know Homebrew, Homebrew, Paul R.
Homebrew Quest are which is a D&D Irish show that which is streams every second Tuesday. So I believe that they're streaming next Tuesday, which is the 24th. Sorry, not 24th, the
It's the
4th.
second,
Yeah,
third,
is it the
fourth.
second?
There you go.
The 4th?
Yeah, it's
The
the fourth.
4th of
It's a
August.
yeah,
This is a completely impromptu like ad read kind of thing. But they give us a shout
yeah.
out every now and again as well.
Yeah, but I was just thinking, so any advertisers that are thinking of giving us money, that was our audition tape. Anyway, Homebrew, D&D, it's board and beers, it's gas. They're a funny bunch. A bunch of people that can really pull off some very interesting character, and the chemistry between them all is great. Link in the description down below.
Yeah,
Paul, remember what we have to link in the description down below.
I
I
will
hope one of us
indeed.
does.
Um,
But yeah, go over and check them out.
yep.
They're great, and Paul may even be even be subtly subtly linked to that somehow. You
Oh,
never know.
yeah, I'm in the background, not on the
Yeah,
screen.
Paul's a troll.
Yeah.
Anyway, in many ways, dude, you are. um, but yeah, so no, fair play, and thanks to Ben for this question. This question is two parts. Well, it's two directions more than anything else. I'll give the first part a read.
Hmm.
What's your take on the best example of a video game that playing it feels more like watching a movie? So a
Hmm.
game that when you're playing it, it feels like watching a movie. What do you
Which is
have?
I've got it quite a lot. So Firewatch, it's a PlayStation 2 or a PlayStation 4 game. It's
Oh,
mostly story driven. Which goes, it's a mostly story driven game. It's very, very good, very interesting. You're a forest ranger who's like gone to one of those forest or fire watch towers, and they what they do is they stay there for like 2 weeks or so, just by themselves, or
yeah.
possibly with another person. And the only person that they communicate to is like either is the next watchtower over, essentially, and
Yeah.
that's the only person you ever talk to is literally the person from the next watchtower over, and weird things happen. But it's
Ooh.
more plays like a movie than anything.
Are there
So
plenty of cutscenes, or is it kind of a la Tomb Raider where you're um,
it
kind of mixing it up through the scenery?
it's first person. There's not really any cutscenes at all.
Oh,
Like, but
oh,
it's all, there's no real action to it as well. It's just all story driven, unraveling a
nice.
mystery kind of thing. It's really, really intriguing. It's really good way of showing gameplay as like a story element or a
And it's
storytelling
called
tool.
called
Firewatch.
Firewatch. Okay, everybody check out Firewatch because now I have to find time in my life to fight. Oh man, stop coming up with things because I'll be watching like Invincible, not Invincibles, Incredibles
Incredibles.
2 while playing that now. You know what? I was going to move on to the second part of the question, but I realized I have to answer too.
Yeah.
I'm going to just let's get the Tomb Raiders and the Uncharted and all that out of the way. I think Uncharted, when I played it, I remember going, Indiana Jones, the modern video game. This is great, and it very much is. And it's cool. I loved it. Don't get me wrong. I have The Last of Us in a box that has never been opened, and I have not played it.
One or two.
So the first one, never
Oh.
got round to it. In fact, I'm not sure I could find it the last time I bought it with the express intention of myself and my wife playing through it together, because we knew it was going to be quite cinematic. So you're playing a movie story. So it obviously counts.
Uh,
You're looking at me like, why don't you get around to doing it?
I hadn't played the first one, and my fiance was just like, you should definitely play it because the second one's coming out soon. I played it, and immediately it was the day that the second one came out. I immediately bought the second one and started playing the
Oh.
second one. Currently still playing through it. It is phenomenal, man. You definitely do need, and it is like
And
a movie. Both of them are like movies.
I have just realized that for people who don't care about video games, which I'm not the biggest gamer of the two of us, but The Last of Us was Ellen Page and Willem Dafoe to me. Like, as in, you look at the box art, and it's like they got some Hollywood movie stars, and they've made a film game, game film, whatever way you would want to put it. Um,
Just to give you some
yeah.
information about it. Sorry to interrupt.
Mm.
There's a TV series is coming out on The Last of Us, and the guy who played Jamie Lannister from Game of Thrones is going to play Joel, the old man.
Oh, right, because I know that guy's name, that actor's name, and I'm never going to think of it while we're on air. But the minute we stop the stream, I'm going to shout his name, and it's like Hanson or something like that. I am not going to pick any of those games because I haven't played them. The game that I played that we talked about once that is very movie esque is on Red Dead Redemption.
Mm.
Red Dead Redemption plays like a Western. If you play it at speed, if you just take its open world and enjoy it, it's like living the little cowboy life. But Red Dead 2 very much ups that story push in places. And I thought it was like playing through an epic series of Westerns. I thought it was fabulous, absolutely
Mm.
fabulous. And I hope they never make a movie out of it because there's no point. It's a great story.
No.
Play the game. It's the right way to experience that story. Red Dead
Yeah.
Redemption, for anybody who has never heard of it, it's cowboy. There you go. You live the old west outlaw life, but you can try and be a good man if you want to.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's a very good game. I'll quickly run through ones, but I won't explain them. Dead Space 1, very cinematic. Which is
I know it actually. Yeah, it's good.
Heavy Rain is
I,
literally just a movie. Which is and yeah, Uncharted. The Uncharted games are very good as well. So I'll give
and
those
I
ones.
see our commentariat are throwing in not a gamer but played Silent Hill, the original one. I do kind of remember that being very horror movie like, similar to some of the Resident Evil stuff. But again, they made movies out of those, so
Mm.
don't count. Um, Nicholas Coster Waldau. That's right. That's the game. Nicholas Coster Waldau. That is Jamie Lannister.
Ah,
Very handsome chap that he is. Wasn't given a fitting death in the end of that terrible, terrible TV show, which hurt me because it ended badly. We got to do the reverse though. The other half of Ben's question. Take the question,
yes.
swap it round. So, what movie is the most like playing a game?
Mm. Okay, well, I don't know if I should take the easy one or if I should take
You
the
can
hard
take any of
ones.
them because the ones I'm going to be thinking of are probably going to be wackadoodle.
Because the Barbaduke, the Black Mirror, Choose Your Own Adventure movie,
Oh yeah.
the one that they did
Uh,
on Netflix.
in the comments, because I can't remember it right now either. Yeah, the Choose Your Own Adventure Netflix. That watching that was technically watching a Choose Your Own Adventure game.
Yeah, so like, I would say that's probably the
So
most.
I'm gonna call cheat on you there, Paul, and ask for
Oh,
second
I.
answer because that
Oh,
that was
that's.
no.
Oh,
I'm joking.
oh,
I'm
I don't worry
joking.
because I got two backups. Like,
Oh, give us your
um,
backups.
Doom, the Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and Carl Urban Doom movie, but that's because it
Based
goes
on a
into
game. So
yeah,
yeah,
but it goes into first person and at one point, so it feels kind of like a game. And then Hardcore Henry,
the first person film.
yeah,
Yeah. Anybody who hasn't seen or heard of Hardcore Henry, it is literally that's the best description I can give for it. It's a first person action film. So
mm,
it's camera from your view. So you are the main character,
yeah,
quite literally, of the film, jumping from trucks and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. Yeah, good call, good call. Do you know what? I hadn't actually even thought of that one, Paul. Hadn't thought of it, and it's right out there. What I thought of was Crank. If you've ever watched Crank or Crank 2 High Voltage, um, it's Jason Statham. Let off the leash. It's a real rush film because it's about him needing to keep his adrenaline up for various reasons, etc., etc. Let's not go into the rather shaky plot that there is, but it's essentially manic. So it moves along at a pace. It almost has an open world feeling of just random violence in places. It's got the GTA moments where it's like he's just kicking somebody out of his way or rolling a car over for excitement. Um, but you know what? The one I rested on when I was lying in bed trying to think of this, and it hit me, and I thought no one's going to agree with this. Vanishing Point. Vanishing Point is a fabulous movie. There was a remake with um, Viggo Mortensen, but the original Vanishing Point it's a movie about a guy in a car driving out through the desert. That's it. There's a long
mm,
story. He's being chased. They're after him. He's the great outlaw of the modern age. All sorts of stuff. But at times it feels like watching. You know when you're in a video game and you're going from one location to another in an open world game,
mm-hmm.
and it's a long way, and you start enjoying the scenery or listening to the radio or doing whatever, or you might be thinking about the mission that you're on or what the motivation to get to that other town is.
Yeah.
This movie is that.
Mm.
It's strange. Also, it's so much more. Like it's one of the great movies of all time. I think.
Mm.
Let us know in the comments if you've seen it. If you think I'm stretching too much, and maybe if my car bias is showing.
Oh, I'll definitely take a look at it. That sounds interesting.
Do it's great.
Um, I was thinking of another one there, Cloverfield, the first Cloverfield, because it's first person as well.
That's
I'm
also
going very
first
much,
person.
I'm going very much the first person route, kind
Oh,
of thing.
I see the like cheaty bus that you've jumped on there,
Oh,
Mister. I've worked out how to game the system on this question. It was Bandersnatch, by the way.
yeah,
Bandersnatch.
yeah, no, I saw that
Very
as
much.
well. Got it completely wrong. No, the only reason I say the first person is because I generally play first person shooters.
Yeah.
So, though, if you want a non first person one, which is the Pandorum, Pandorum, the
Was
sci It's the
Yeah,
sci-fi on the ship one. It had oh god, what is his name? Oh
I'm trying to remember because I keep confusing this. This isn't the Halle Berry one, right?
no, that's Gothica.
Ah, thank you. Yeah, I keep confusing those two films.
That's got
We've had this conversation before
yeah,
too. Sorry.
because it's got Robert Downey Jr. in it. It's the one. It's the Halle Berry one is the one that I know. I know like the actors in it, Robert Downey
Yeah.
Jr. and Halle Berry. But this is oh, I can't see. I cannot remember his name
Well,
at
I'm
all.
thinking that we just got a statement in there going, it's a great film, and I'm going to claim that as being for Vanishing Point. Because more people need to see Vanishing Point. If you can, see the original. If you can't, the kind of made for TV remake type thing isn't too bad, but the original is the one with the real charm and class.
Okay.
Um, we're going to have to line up our next question because I'm looking at time. And I think we're going to dive into Brew's other questions if you're up for that. Do you have any final comments before we move on?
No, like as I said, I probably chose a lot of the first-person shooter or first-person ones. Because Blair Witch was also on my list as well.
Yeah, good point.
Though two ones I'd also agree. District 9 and Elysium were also District 9, Elysium, and Chappie. I would feel is less or more like games kind of thing, but that's because
Mm.
just the game, just the production design and everything like that was very detailed.
And we already talked about this, and I can't believe I didn't think about it. But Aliens, like Alien 2 to a lot of people, Aliens, in a lot of ways, was just perfectly prototyped to be a game. And when watching it, because of the level of action, and then she's got the forklift, which is an exoskeleton essentially. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of game tropes in there or game mechanisms. Yeah, Aliens too. Hey, wouldn't have thought of that had you not just said Elysium. Hey,
They're great. And
this is why we
Tron.
work together.
Should we just choose Tron as we'll just throw Tron in there, both of them, just because we could be cheeky
Yeah.
with that way.
Also, I liked Raster Runner and Tron and all the games that were based on the original Tron light bikes. Which realistically, the people who think they came up with Worm, get out of it. Your mobile phone people. Way back when I were little, playing on 8-bit was a hope someday, and we were playing Tron, which was lines that you just didn't want to touch each other. It was
Yeah.
important.
Bruce says the raid. Yeah, I can see that. I can
And
also see.
Dread
Yeah, I was going to say Dread then with that as
levels,
well. Yeah.
levels. Oh
Very much.
gosh. Oh, you know what? And this is terrible because now I've just thought of when I thought of levels, I went straight
Six.
to Nakatomi Plaza, which made me go straight to, oh, we're never going to end this topic. When you think about it, Die Hard has elements of, Metal Gear Solid with the
Hmm.
sneaking around. It's got the kind of over the top bad guy cutscene things that you could have. It's got everything. Was Die Hard really a game? Did I
Though,
imagine this? Are
funny
we
enough,
are we really here?
though also just Die Hard, Die Harder, the
Die
sequel.
Hard 2?
Was that
Yeah.
also no no? Sorry, the fourth one, Die Free. That was it.
Live
Uh,
Free or Die Hard.
yeah, which is that was a decade apart, wasn't it? From the
Hey, yeah,
no no no. Let's
good
not go
good
back.
point. Yeah,
Uh,
let's never touch that. That's the off limits. You know what, Brew, you've got a couple other questions that we cannot skip here. What current TV series would make a good big screen adaptation? Do you want to go first? Because I
oh,
I read this question and it jumped out of my mouth, and I actually did the following shout: 6 seasons in a movie. I would say Community, because Community, if it gets its movie, will have had 6 seasons and a movie, and I hope I live to see that day.
hmm. Like
It's not a current TV series, I guess.
I would say yeah. See, this is my thing is because it's usually the other way around,
Mm.
which is interesting. So this is a real difficult one because yeah, it's usually like that a movie gets turned into a TV series because either people feel like it wasn't told properly.
You can tell more story, like Firefly and the like are some of the few examples of where a TV show became a movie, but that was out of necessity to finish a story that was cut off when a TV show was cancelled. There's a
Hmm.
couple of those over the years. That's a really good point. It is usually the other way around. Have you got one though?
I've got one, but I don't think it's the same one as yours.
Oh,
Which
probably not.
was Dark Matter.
Dark Matter. I
It's a
haven't watched that, have I?
it's a sci-fi. Oh, actually, I have another one, but yeah, sci-fi. It's a sci-fi channel show. It's now cancelled. I think it only had two seasons. It was about a bunch of people waking up in a ship and they have no memory of their pasts, and essentially it's
Ooh,
them trying to figure out their past and stuff. And obviously coming across people that they have in their past and stuff, and finding out like secrets. I say that like it's two seasons. I would say
and that
very
could have worked
much.
as a movie.
I say it could have. There's parts in which it could have definitely worked as a movie and stuff like that. It would have been like I think it would really work well in a kind of more movie format as well. So
Yeah. Well, and everybody out there, including Brew, who asked this very difficult question, get your nominations in. I'm gonna pick. Here's the thing: don't pick on me because I only saw the first season. I enjoyed the first 3 or 4 episodes, and then it fell off. And the reason I'm picking American Gods is because I actually think if they'd had the constraints of trying to get their 10 episodes into a more cohesive kind of 2.5 hour movie, they could have told the story that they ended up telling probably that bit better.
mm.
But
Mm.
if you're an American Gods fan, apologies. I understand. I haven't watched season 2. I know it went off in other places, but it felt to me like they had too much time and they languished in it a little bit. Um, but my actual pick, my weird actual pick for this is if they were to tell me that they're canceling Barry tomorrow, I would
Oh.
say, which I really hope they don't, because Bill Hader, Barry, if you haven't seen it, Barry is about essentially a war veteran who comes back to America, becomes a contract killer, um, kind of against his better judgment and against his not against his will, but he's just a little bit lost and gets manipulated into it. And then one day he attends an acting class while on a hit and realizes that's the actual life for him. The acting bug bites him, and he wants to be an actor, not a hitman. And it sounds daft, but it's genuinely brilliant. And I actually think that's a great premise for a movie, given the right, given the right kind of motivation to make that movie. Just making it as telling that story, maybe not adapting the exact Barry storylines, but taking inspiration from it. I think it could make a great movie.
Oh, it could. Yeah, it reminds me of the right guy, with Sam Rockwell,
Oh, Mr. Right, is it?
Mr. Right.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
it's
with who's in that? There's a lady in that of some sort, isn't there? Is that Anna Kendrick?
it's Anna Kendrick as well. Yeah.
Oh, well, why would you have seen it, Paul, with Anna Kendrick in it?
because
Sorry.
my fascination with that woman. Um,
I
like,
bring up cars, he brings up Anna Kendrick movies. It's
but
terrible.
it's even despite Anna Kendrick in it, because it also has the guy who plays he's in Lie to Me, and also he's also
Oh,
the
Tim Roth. Tim Roth.
yes, is he the abomination in
He's the abomination in the Ang Lee Hulk. Yeah.
in the Ang Lee Hulk, or he's the Ed Norton one, right?
Yes.
Because
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right.
yeah,
Sorry. Makes yeah.
because Ang
I
Lee
think so.
did the
Yes, yes,
Ang
yes.
Lee did the one with not Jeff Bridges, but not, and he always
The,
reminds me of Jeff Bridges, but
uh,
it doesn't matter.
yeah,
We're going
Nick
down a
Nolte.
tangent. Um, yes, yeah, yeah. Nick, I don't know why he always reminds me of Jeff Bridges. I don't know what it is about him.
I don't know why
Um,
we're mentally testing each other right now either. um, but yeah, no, he's Tim Roth's in it. Like I actually thought Mr. Right was really good. So much so I've actually watched it twice.
yeah, it's a good film. Sam Rockwell and Kendrick and stuff, but it reminds me of kind of like how you could do it shows how you could do Barry in
Mm,
a very good way, and there is a market open for the fact that there is um Bill Hader would be fantastic in the
ah,
movie as well,
he's
because he can
brilliant.
talk. Yeah, and Barry is a very good premise that it would hold up as a movie thing. So I definitely, that's one I didn't even think about. Didn't even think about it at all, but it's fantastic, man.
I'm just noticing that Brew is being smart and saying Google's Anna Kendrick. It's not really like that. She's very talented. So don't be expecting some sort of like you know perfect creature or something weird. It's not. It is. I also think Anna Kendrick is massively talented. Um, Paul fits the description of and maybe more, I guess is the
Yeah,
right phrase.
I'm a low key stalker of her.
Well,
Low key
just
in the
for
sense.
anybody who anybody who has Netflix, by the way, Pitch Perfect and a load of Anna Kendrick films are there. But Mr. Right, her and Sam Rockwell, give it a watch. Everybody has Netflix, so give it a watch. It's a tidy little number, actually, that film.
Yeah, it's a very nice little one. Which goes, yeah. I'm trying to think of any other ones that kind of would be. I guess the other one I was going to say is The Expanse, but you couldn't. The Expanse, which was a Netflix show, wasn't it a Netflix show?
It was
Netflix show.
sci-fi to Netflix. Sci-fi started it, Netflix continued it, I think,
No,
as
no,
far as
because
backing.
no, because Amazon Prime have it now.
Oh,
So it's kind
somebody
of like,
started and somebody continued on.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of those ones where I think Netflix tried to get us, or Netflix
Oh.
did get us. Oh, no, Sci-Fi did start us. I think Netflix tried to get us, and then but Amazon Prime outbid them.
Hmm. I watched
Um,
2 episodes, really enjoyed it, and then forgot to go back to it. So, yeah,
um, you couldn't in any way tell the story of it because they're based on books, and the books are insane.
okay.
Great books, but like you could definitely tell a story from The Expanse, like as in take either one of the books or like you could start a movie series with The Expanse, but like it's better
Oh.
as a TV series, I think, but could do really well as a TV series.
Well, I can see Mr. Asky McQuestion himself is in the live chat, chatting up a storm, but hasn't answered this question.
Mm.
So I put it to you out there. You know who you are. Everybody throw in their answer, but particularly the asker of this question. What current TV series would you say is ripe for or would work as an adaptation in the big screen?
Um,
Um, Go for it.
and while we're waiting for them to answer,
Mm-hmm.
a movie, let's reverse the thing. A movie that hasn't got a TV series yet that would definitely benefit from it.
Hmm.
Like, and I don't mean one that like the movie was shit.
And you
Like,
could fix it by making a TV show out
yeah,
of it.
I mean like if it's just like if it was just like, oh, this will just make it better.
I have my answer. I actually have my answer, and my brain just went. You said this last week, you idiot, and so did my wife. Old Guard, Old Guard. Also, watch that on Netflix, folks.
Um,
It's one of the most watched things on Netflix. I really liked it. I really did. Did you get to see it yet?
I haven't gotten to see it yet.
It's good.
I went through all of Umbrella Academy, getting prepared for tomorrow because Umbrella Academy is going to be out tomorrow.
Right, right. Well, when you're done with Umbrella Academy season 2, watch Old Guard. I think it would have, and it still could. It would make a great TV series. It really would.
Okay,
Really would.
that's made me. I gotta watch this now.
Makes a great movie too, though. I'm not again. There's no positive or negative to that statement. It's more I could do with more Old Guard. I
Oh no,
really
no.
could.
See, that's the statement because I specifically told. I said movies that would just benefit from a TV series, not because they were shit, but just because
Yeah.
yeah, like you would want to see more. You know,
No, I
because
think I think you were very fair to the premise. Unfortunately, the man that asked the question has just given his absolute, we're allowed to curse in this, right? Bullshit answer. And his bullshit answer is, I have no idea, to be honest. EastEnders. For anybody watching from another country, either now or in the future, EastEnders is a British soap opera about people in the East End of London. It's centered around a pub, essentially, and a small street.
mm,
Yeah, if you made EastEnders into a full big movie, you would have to have 7 deaths, 7 weddings, and 7 something else's. Because I think that's how they make their ratings. I think they do like 4 events a year. Somebody has to die, somebody has to be born, and somebody has to get married. I remember
they
having it explained to me once.
they go through. Yeah, there's a lot of it. It's one of the longest running TV shows, like along with like Coronation
Coronation
Street.
Street. It's compatriot. Yeah,
Yeah, which I think is the longest running TV series.
I think
Um,
so. I think so.
Fact check us, people. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
he also brings out animated comedians Family Guy, animated comedies Family Guy. Family Guy does
yeah.
have a movie, I believe. But
Does it? Did they make a?
I think
Was
it's
that the Stewie movie?
it's a Star Wars. There's also Star Wars parody movies of it, which is like Blue Harvest
Blue
and stuff like
Harvest.
this.
Yeah, good point.
Um,
Actually,
because Simpsons has a movie which I've never seen.
you never
That
saw the Simpsons movie. I went to the cinema with a bunch of lads. A bunch of guys I was doing some car racing stuff with at the time. It was like, let's all go to the Simpsons movie together. It's the one thing we all have in common, other than car stuff. And we all kind of went in, and everybody came out slightly deflated. It was like that wasn't bad, but you finally went into the cinemas and saw into the cinema and saw the Simpsons, and we all just kind of had that similar feeling of, I'm almost sorry that we shared this experience.
Oh yeah.
It was like a collective. So I guess we'll go home. We're not actually going for dinner or anything after this one. After all,
I was going to say, was it one of those ones where you came out less friends? Like,
well, no, we're just less interested to talk about what had happened. It's not that it
no.
was bad. It was that it kind of it made you want to go and lie down and go, yeah, maybe not Simpsons movie, maybe not.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other ones. See if there's
Well,
any other.
I'm looking at the clock, so I'm moving us on.
Okay.
We've only got space for one more question. So,
Oh yeah.
oh, and it's the tough one. It is the tough one. Favorite foreign, non-English speaking now film, and that was also asked by Asky McQuestion Face, who better have an answer. You can hear me. I know you're watching. Favorite foreign language film, I guess, is the way it would be said in the Oscars. Do you want to go first? Because I have an answer.
I have tons. So if you want to go first, like,
For me, it's easy. Straight away, when I read the question, I said, well, obviously, Old Boy, because the original Old Boy is just an incredible piece of cinema,
hmm
top 10 film of all time type of thing. And then I said it to my wife, and she went, yo, you didn't say Troll Jurgen then? It's like Troll Jurgen, which is Troll Hunter to anybody who doesn't speak my badly pronounced Swedish or Norwegian. It's basically a Scandinavian film, I think, um, about troll hunters, but not in the way you think. This is not Van Helsing. This is more like, what if you don't really see trolls, and if it's about people, and it's done in a very Scandinavian kind of way? It's awesome. It is just awesome. Troll Hunter, Troll Jurgen, whatever you find it under, watch it. I think it was on Netflix at one point. Um,
Yeah, I think though. I think Troll Hunter. There's also Troll Slayer or something like that, which is the.
oh God.
It's the small girl um movie as well, or movie as well. There be giants. No, never mind.
Oh, okay. Well, no, this Troll Hunter thing is more. It's you don't know why they say it's about trolls at all. It's about people. There is nothing fantastical about it for an awful lot of the movie.
hmm
And then when anything fantastical happens, it's so natural because you've had some kind of characters just making it real. Surly old troll hunter up in the forests in the north, and a guy coming to film him a la Blair Witch.
hmm
It's awesome. It's awesome. So what's your? Obviously, I should give a hat tip to all of Asian cinema since I've watched so many Bruce Lee films. All the Kurosawa films, Rashomon, etc. Seven
Yeah,
Samurai.
yeah, because there's pretty much anything by team by. If we're not going for animated in any kind of way, because I was going to say all of the Studio Ghibli stuff you should just
Mm,
watch, which goes, there's Old Boy's really good, which goes, there was Parasite, which is really good, which is one of the recent kind of ones. It like stole the Oscars.
yeah,
Um, but there's like Train to Busan, which is a zombie film, which is really really good.
have to see it. Have
Um,
to see it. It's on the list.
the Raid is very good as well. Which goes, Raid is fantastic. Raid 2 is pretty good, but not as good. Kind of
No.
thing. There's a string of horror movies which I won't even go into because also some of them are a bit weird. What else? There's the
So
Good, the Bad.
what was your big pick and why? Like what was the one that came and hit you and you were like, because like I easily said Old Boy without thinking. And for anybody I didn't give them a chance. Old Boy, if you've never heard of it, you may have seen the American remake, which I haven't watched yet. It's
Yeah,
about a guy who is locked away for years and then released, and he's an old man then, and it's about him looking to find out why they just randomly snatched him, what it's all about, and it's got too many twists for me to actually say any more, but it is
yeah.
quite brutal in every sense of the word, and it's great. So yeah, what
Um,
hit you?
yeah. See, I can't really. La Haine did get me. The French movie La Haine. It's about the kids from the outer parts of Paris. That's a really really good film. Yeah, like I'll go with La Haine for now, but I can name
Hmm.
like I could name like
Well,
1,000 of like.
French cinema, I think you have to count an awful lot of other French cinema out because there's a lot to choose from. Actually, Life is Beautiful, Vita Bala, however it's supposed to be said, is when it comes to movies about the Holocaust. Again, Oscar winner, quite rightly. It's stunning. But the people in the chat window here, someone actually, Nora said The Watchmen for our earlier question. That's a good one that you can make a TV series out of, and they have, and we're going to be watching it very very soon. You've already watched it.
Yeah, the only thing is that the Watchmen TV show does it follows on from
Mm.
the events and in the movie. Whereas if they did a TV series of what the actual events of Watchmen, that would be interesting too.
That would, yeah. So good
Yeah,
shout. But back to the current question, we've got. Hey, finally, we have somebody representing. I'm surprised neither one of us said Roma because I actually haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure it's very good.
I haven't seen it
City
either.
of God gets call out here.
City of God's
Um,
good.
so let the right one in. Ah, damn you, bro! That's a great call. I remember seeing that as well in the cinema and in as a foreign language film, and holy God, that was good. I know the American remake is with, I think, is it Chloe Moretz? I think did it.
Yeah,
Um, I think so. It was very good as well, but the original is genuinely unsettling and great. And yeah, guess what Brew picked? Lehane.
Hand's a good one.
Yeah.
I gotta say. I'm trying to think of City of Children. That's a Ron Perlman film. I think that's French as well.
Oh.
I think it's called City of Children. Um, what else? There's
See, okay, well, we've probably got to be a bit harder on ourselves because now we're just going to be naming good foreign language films.
okay. So
So, favorite
let's
foreign language film, Old Boy for me because it's so unexpected. Troll Jurgen is my second place because it's also so unexpected and not what you think by the name, the Troll Hunter. But now that Bruce put it in my head, Let the Right One In is an incredible shout.
And I'll do Lehen for my main pick, and then for my next one I'll do like I'll say oh
You
boy
can,
I'll say oh boy as well,
yeah,
but like if anyone wants to ask questions about like foreign language movies, especially Korean or Japanese, like let's do this. Like,
yeah.
but yeah,
Well, we're not giving Kurosawa his dues either for the Seven Samurai or Rashomon or anything like that. If French cinema gets a lot of respect and it
hmm
deserves it. Similarly, Italian cinema, I think North European cinema doesn't get as much respect as it should when you consider, Seven Seal, etc., and all the great stuff that had been done over the years.
yeah,
Metropolis, even
mm,
to go way back. But Asian cinema, Korean cinema in particular, in the last kind of 20, 30 years, maybe 30, 40 years at this stage, like holy cow. Don't ever be like, I don't want to watch it because I have to read. I hate it when people say, oh, I don't go to the cinema to read. No, you go to the cinema to have a story told to you.
hmm
You reading is the same as you watching Michael Bay explode buildings. Trust me. You're going to soak it in and you'll get the story as part of it.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I definitely agree with that, and yeah, it's also that's a really good topic to kind of end this on. I
Yeah.
think it's a nice one that we have to cut ourselves short
And
enough.
what am I doing now then?
You
I'm
are
tickling the analytics, people. Oh, it's staying in there, Paul. Tickle the analytics, folks. Hit the like buttons. Hit the subscribe buttons. Hit the gym. Work out, pump some iron. Then come back and hit the like button again. Comment down below. Let us know what you think. If you have any other questions, we'll be peppering them in. Paul, I think we should just keep doing viewers' questions along with our own topics. So
yeah,
next week we're going to come with our own topics, but we're going to anybody who submits any questions and in any of our communications, we're always looking for more. If you want to get to us, you can get to us at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook,
they're all
direct via email, all down below. But most importantly, if you want to drop a comment on any of our YouTube videos, we read them all. So you can even drop it there if you just happen to be on this site that you're on right now.
yeah, very much so. Yeah, all our links are down below as well. So fantastic. And yeah, so I've been Paul,
I've been Patrick.
and we've been Hear Us Out.
That's
So
right. Do you want to try a Zoom wall high five again? I think it's this way. Is it this way? It's this way. Yeah, I don't know.
boom.
All right, there you go. You've got to hit the stop button, and we've got to say thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. I hit my mic again.
Oh.
Bye.